Welcome to the pit! And today, spawning in the east side of the map in red, we've got Aoe4 playing as the Abbasid dynasty. And his opponent today on the southwest corner of the map in blue, we've got Kaup, also playing as the Abbasid dynasty. Welcome everyone to this Age of Empires forecasted game. And well, I know what you're thinking, a mirror match. It's going to be boring, but trust me when I say, this will not bore you. And the reason why I said that is because the Abbasid dynasty are a civilization like no other. They have the House of Wisdom. What's the House of Wisdom, you might wonder? Well, this is the landmark that goes through all the ages with this civilization. And you've got 4 different options to get to the feudal age. So double the number of options of other civilizations. You know, the other civilizations, they essentially get 2 landmarks to choose from. But the Abbasid dynasty, they are very, very different. The reason why I say that is, well, because look, they've got access to the economic wing, the military wing, the culture wing, and also the trade wing. So 4 different options. Gives you lots of variability, even in mirror matches. Now on the pit, it's kind of an interesting map. This, you know, it's kind of a boom fest often. So we might see multiple town centers from one of the players. We might see trade. Trade is often a very good situation on this map. You've got the trade posts right in the corner of the map. So, you know, getting a market on the other sides can be incredibly strong. Now, both of these players are very strong in Age of Empires 4, as you may know. You know, Wham is one of the best in Age of Empires 4 for sure. He's been there at the top S tier level tournaments. You know, whether that be Red Bull Wallow Legacy, he was there. And he was doing really, really well. And with Kaup, well, I guess he's more of an up-and-coming player. He's kind of there or thereabouts. Not necessarily there all the time in the S-tier tournaments, but he's so close to breaking through to the sort of the upper tiers of the ladders and the tournament players that are there. And so this is going to be a fascinating one for sure, with the 2 players battling it out with the same civilization, the same tools. And this is why we love strategy games, because this is going to come down to choices, right? Both have the same equipment, the same tools. Speaking of which, we're going to talk about the map, right? That's another key bit of detail in Age of Empires 4, like the RNG that can happen. The gold in a relatively safe position here for Wham, and the same could be said for Kaup. And I think just sort of walling up here would protect his area. Let's just see, because you know, it depends what the civilizations go up with, what the players go up with. It's going to be the economic wing for Wham, so perhaps looking to get multiple town centers. The economic wing, a very strong way to get to the next stage, enables the access to Fertile Crescent, which can reduce the cost of economy buildings by 25%, and houses at that, and even farms. So it's a very nice choice of route to boost the economy for the Abbasid dynasty today to get to that feudal age. Now we see something interesting. Kaup going up with the trade wing. It's not something we often see, but we're seeing it today on the pit, of course. It opens access to the Grand Bazaar. Now, constructing the trade wing, it acts as a home market, and it grants 3, 4, 5 traders upon completion. So it's going to get 3 traders as soon as it gets to that feudal age. Let's take a look at what kind of technologies he has access to. The Grand Bazaar, the traders and trade ships also return with a secondary resource. This resource is 25% the base gold value and is set at the market. So that's going to be great for the economy. Now the thing is, this kind of is an interesting dynamic, an interesting change already early on, right? The choices have made a big difference. They're going to make a big difference in the rest of the game. And with the trade, it means that Kaup will need to get static defenses, wall up a little bit, make sure he protects that trade. Whereas Wham, I suspect he'll be going for multiple town centers, which means that his economy will be a little bit more condensed and potentially a little bit more easier to protect. And I mean, the thing is though, you know, with Kaup going for the trade wing, although his economy is going to be a bit more spread out, a little bit harder to protect, it should be stronger. Trade is generally, you know, a little bit stronger, a decent amount stronger than going for multiple town centers. But the good thing about going for multiple town centers and producing villagers is the villagers can be obviously moved around to different parts of the economy, different resources. Although having said that, it's not too bad for the Abbasid dynasty of the trade wing, because of course Grand Bazaar gives access to another resource coming in from trade. So certainly it's going to be an interesting kind of battle here between trade versus villagers. We'll see. 3 traders already out on the hunt for gold. It's going to be only 13 gold. Obviously the trade route is really suboptimal, but Kaup already walling up and getting a market to the corner of the map. So that's going to be scouted here by Wham for sure. He's going to see, it's going to run into it right now. He knows what's happening. And so the question is, well, how does Wham deal with this, right? So we've got an interesting thing to think about in Age of Empires 4. Often you have a civilization that kind of leads the dynamic of the match. It kind of not so much dictates I guess in a way dictates the play, right? Has the kind of situation where, like, I'm going to be doing this. Are you going to counter it? You kind of have to, because I'm trading, right? Like, Wham can't just let this trade go uncontested. If he does, then it's probably going to be quite far behind. Like, there's no way to really catch up to trade apart from killing it. Unless he just really macros incredibly well with multiple town centers. In any case, he is going for multiple town centers just to get that the eco approach up and running, and make use of the fact that he's got the eco wing. And there's that second town center on the deer pack, getting that free food on the map. Now, the good thing about going up against trade for Wham is it does mean he should have map presence, right? Because the trade needs to be protected. Kaup has to stay at home to protect that trade. And, well, it gives Wham the ability to get onto the map and get the free resources. It has to be said, though, the Abbasid dynasty obviously has the Islamic tradition features heavily with this civilization. Well, I mean, it is a civilization from the Islamic tradition. They, of course, can't get the huntable boar, so that does limit their kind of bonuses of getting the map presence on a match. Just that little bit, but of course the deer is fair game for them. Pun intended, of course. And, well, walls are almost up there for Kaup, so he's going to get the trade well, pretty well protected. The question is, how does Wham react to this, right? Because traders are coming out now, and the trade has been extended in terms of, you know, the distance. It's getting 72 gold and 18 food. That's going to be incredibly strong, and I suspect he'll be selling that gold, or, you know, buying food and wood, rather, to produce units. Has one stable. Well, what's going on here? Villagers being pulled by Wham, maybe to get another town center. I mean, that's probably the only explanation here. Especially when you think about how much gold, how much stone and wood he's got. Yeah, I mean, it's like he's going to go for the berries and the gold and the wood. Actually, a really nice town center position. Like, you can't really get much better than this. And I think he's going to be pushing it in a direction where he can kind of deny the trade a little bit. In fact, he's not even going there. He's going for the stone. So he's going to be going for maybe even more town centers. I mean, it's got to be, right? Because, I mean, he doesn't really gather anything else from this position. Only stone. Kind of bonkers, but he should be able to get this up. Although, does Kaup see this? That's the question. He's going to see it eventually with the trade. Now, Wham is being harassed back at home. Or was being harassed, but no, it wasn't. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's just a scout. Attack notification. But with 2 town centers, the eco number is pretty even. And this trader should be able to make it out there with the gold. But, I mean, you know, Kaup spots this, right? It's going to send some horsemen. This could be a problem for Wham. Does Wham have textiles? That's a big question. He doesn't. And there's only 9 villagers building that. So he might lose a couple. I mean, the town center should go up. But with a bit of micro, he should be able to survive and get that going. But he tracks the wolf as well. I think he might lose a couple of villagers. But all is not lost. He's got to be careful. Oh, holy moly. Okay, villagers coming in for Kaup. He has no intention of letting this TC stand alive for too long. He's going to burn it down now. Well, this is kind of interesting. Like, that's a massive commitment of villagers there for Kaup. That's a lot of idle time. 16 villagers. And he will lose a couple. And Wham committed about 9 of them of his own. So, I mean, he's going to lose 9 villagers though, Wham. That's the problem. So whilst Kaup is losing... Well, I mean, I guess Kaup is losing a couple of villagers though, right? So it's a lot of idle time. And he's losing villagers. Probably maybe 2 or 3. I think obviously it's still worth it though to get rid of the town center and the villagers. The villagers will perish here for Wham. So he's going to have to go back to the drawing board and think of another way to stop the trade. Because this is just not it. He might look to send some villagers on the other side. Wait a minute. He's got a scout there. Just keeping an eye on the trade. Kaup looking to wall this up. He's almost got it up. Actually, just a little bit of a wall segment left. And that trade will be super, super protected. He's obviously got a lot of horsemen on the field already. Wham just has 1 military unit on the field. He really doesn't have anything. And I think that one military unit rather is a scout. Which is kind of awkward in his situation. It looks like he's still gathering stone now as well. Sending a lot more villagers. 12 villagers on stone. I mean, there's nothing you can use stone for in the feudal age apart from town centers, right? So... maybe he's going to look to boom behind this. We'll have to see what he decides to do. Now, horseman heading down the west side of the pit. Is that Kaup just keeping an eye on things? Just want to see if he can pick off some more villagers. But 10 villager kills here for Kaup already. Wham is quite behind. Especially when you consider trade has been running for a while now for Kaup. Let's just see how many traders he has got. He's got 9 so far. So nothing insurmountable, but he's got to be careful that he doesn't let that get out of hand. Villagers coming out again on the west side. And Kaup looks like he's just going to ride past that. Kaup just checking if there's any trade for Wham. And he's going to run into a situation where he's going to spot no trade. Sending 9 more villagers. It looks like 9 is the magic number for Wham. I say that. He's going to send another 2 more as well. Now, Kaup does actually have textiles, but Wham does not. Oh, he's going to try and get another bit of palisade walls. Does he break through? He actually went through. He made it in time. The scout keeping it open there for Wham. That's huge. Those 2 villagers, well, he's going to try and wall this up and disrupt it as much as he can. And the thing is, well, Kaup's army's not there to deal with it, right? Gonna go to berries, but Wham might need to consider going back because he might lose a couple if he doesn't. Uh-oh, he's gonna lose at least one villager. And probably two, but he's gonna back off now to the town center. Oh, that's kind of rough. He loses quite a few there, 3 at least. And his gold is pretty exposed as well. Now the walls are starting to go up. There's disrupting trade, but a couple of horsemen there. But kaup will deal with that, of course. He spotted it early, and you know, it's quite a nice try for Wham to try and disrupt this, but he's losing a lot of villagers in trying to do this. Now the town center will be going up on the berries, gold and wood in a nice spot as we discussed earlier. And he is now trying to get another town center on the stone and to deny that trade. Now there is one possibility for kaup, and that is to trade to the other market. That could be an option, but we'll have to see if he decides to do that, because he's certainly being pressurized here, right? And it's going to be sending the 11 villagers to get the town center. The thing is that kaup can't be in all places at once, right? So this is a bit of a bait. Like, although he didn't get the walls up, it's given him time to get the town center on the other side. So I quite like this play by Wham. It might have just been part of the plan all along. Oh no, villagers coming out for kaup. He's trying to deny as much as possible. Oh, that's suicide. Like, he can't stop that. He decides against it now for sure. Yeah, not a good idea. It does back off now, but a lot of idle time caused by that one movement. And I think this might be the no military challenge from Wham, because he only has one military on the unit, on the floor rather, on the map, and that's just like one scout, I think. Well, these two villagers might run into problems. Well, I mean, kaup hasn't spotted it though. Oh, Wham spots it. He does back off now, thankfully for those guys. They live to fight another day, and the villagers are back on stone again. Well, I mean, let's just count how many TCs he's built. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and now there's 4. And there was a 5th one, of course, that got destroyed. So 5 town centers already for Wham. So I guess it's town centers versus trade. And the trade has actually technically been cut off, right? There's no real safe way for the trade to make its way on the west side. He might be looking to trade on this position now, but Wham trying to wall up. I'm not sure he's going to get there in time. The trade is already making their way across. This one's a little bit of a lost trade, I'm afraid. He's going to run into the town center. But with 16 military on the field, it should be the case that kaup stabilizes and secures that trade route. Oh, he's being walled off from his main empire. Well, kaup is going to be walling that off and stopping any sort of reinforcements coming in closely. But that one interesting approach from Wham could be to drop proxy buildings here, right? Production buildings. We'll have to see what he decides to do. And he's going to deny those walls, which is kind of painful. It does mean the trade is running again. And I think this match is really going to devolve into sort of how much trade can kaup get and how much can he maximize and use that. But behind this, Wham is going to the castle age with the military wing. And that offers so much, because the tech advantage of going to the next stage, especially on mirror matches, is incredibly strong. Like, he's going to be able to afford, he's going to have access to gulams, he's going to have access to lancers, you name it. He's going to get another town center as well. He's really doubling down on this west side position. Question is, where does he put the production buildings? Probably proxy based, maybe here. Looks like that's where he's setting himself up. He's going to try and deny the trade by walling up. Will he be able to do it? I'm not so sure, because there's a lot of cavalry here. Will kaup spot those 2 villagers, sneaky villagers? Oh, he spots it, maybe? I'm not sure if he saw that. Does he see it? Oh, he does see it. The scout's there. And those 2 villagers, unfortunately for Wham, they'll be losing their lives to this mission. They won't be making it back home. Back home to the warm comfort of their Abbasid dynasty comrades. And that, wait a minute. What is this? Holy moly, he's going to go for a 4 town centers. Not something you expect to see every day. He's actually going to secure the deer, funnily enough. But kaup hasn't spotted this. And even if he did spot it, he can't do anything about it. All the army is on the east side now. I think Wham is showing a masterclass in terms of understanding where your opponent's army is, right? It's really quite important to consider that. I think it's something that obviously separates a lot of the pro players from, say, everyone else, really, is that map awareness of where your opponent's army is. Because this would not have gone up, right? If the army was there, obviously. But Wham knows that it will, because he knows that his army is here on the east side. Now, he is losing villagers, but it's a price to pay, right? It's always about trade-offs. It's always about opportunity cost, and if you see that, well, 3 rams coming out for kaup. He's going to try and take out that west side position, and here come the barracks, the proxy base, the proxy production buildings. And how does kaup deal with this? Now, the one thing about the Abbasid dynasty is they do get the camel archers, and I think there's got to be the option here to deal with the gulams that are going to pop out, because the gulams and man-at-arms, the equivalent, are very difficult to take care of if you're stuck in the feudal age, unless you have access to man-at-arms yourself, or maybe Mustaphadi warriors if you are playing as the Malians. But of course, that's not the situation today. But camel archers is certainly a nice option. He's going to dive in with the archers. Villagers need to garrison side. Not enough space. He will lose a couple more villagers here. 27 villagers have been killed by kaup. But the eco is just so much stronger here for Wham. I mean, what it comes down to is Wham has denied the trade for quite a significant period of time, right? And that's the mainstay of the eco for Kaup. Whereas the eco for Wham, whilst he's lost a lot of villagers, well, he's just kept on producing them from like 6 or 7 town centers now. I lose count. And this town center is at risk of going down, but not without a fight because the Ghulams are getting lots of kills. Villagers are coming out to torch out as well. Now, there's no way to really keep this alive, I don't think. The villagers might come out to repair and just try and preserve the longevity of it. And let the Ghulams dish out damage. Actually, the Ghulams are getting loads of value because whilst the villagers and the army are focusing on the town center, the Ghulams are picking a lot of those units up, and the villagers back off now. The Rams do take care of the town center, the 3 Rams. But now it's going to back off a little bit. Wham just needs to buy himself some time, maybe just to produce enough units to take an effective fight. But Kaup could look to try and kite these man-at-arms, these Ghulams rather. By kite, if you're not sure what I mean by that, essentially it's where you use your ranged units to constantly hit and run your enemy units, and that's what he's going to look to do, as you can see now with these the camel archers. Unfortunately, he doesn't actually have steeled arrow, which is the archer kind of increased range damage upgrade, which would be pretty useful right now. He's going to lose the Rams here, unfortunately. Count, that's a lot of investment, 250 wood a pop, so that's quite a lot of wood that just went down there. 3 Rams perishing. The walls didn't manage to get them up there on the east side. He's going to send a couple more villagers to try and do that. I mean, the significant thing is it's stopping the military from heading back home to defend, right? I mean, these 2 villagers will die, I'm afraid. I'm trying to go sneakily, but 1 horseman does spot it. Now, trade-wise, what does Kaup have? How many? He's got 25 traders. It's not bad. Not bad at all. And Wham hasn't stopped on terms of stone production. In fact, it's going to go for more. Maybe get a keep or 2. It does feel like the key to this game could be this east position, right? Making sure the trade stays alive for Kaup offers him so much eco, but if Wham can deny that again, or at least deny it for the first time on this east side, that would be a really bad situation for Kaup. We talked about how the difference is between sort of playing condensed economies with town centers versus trade. Trade is just so much harder to protect, and Wham is making Kaup pay for that heavily. But it's got a large number of camel archers. But as you can see, without steeled arrow, they're not really doing much damage. That's kind of painful. There's no ranged armor here for Wham though. Still, steel arrow is certainly an upgrade that Kaup is missing out on. I mean, he can afford it. I don't think he has a blacksmith. This part. Oh, he does have a blacksmith. Okay, it's just a bit of an omission. In any case, village. Wait a minute. He was going to try and get another town center right close to the capital town center. He's going to have to back off from that because, well, Kaup spotted it. He might lose a couple of villages on the retreat. Does he now have textiles? I hope for his sake he does. He does. But still, it's not enough to lose or stop those villagers from dying. Heavily armored units, lancers and Ghulams. Going to take out the archers that Kaup has. Now, we might see a tech switch from Wham. I think a tech switch would come quite nicely. It does have the military wing. Going for composite bows in terms of archers would be incredibly strong. It pretty much counters everything that Kaup has. Like the archers would counter the camel archers and obviously just go toe to toe against the archers. But the composite bows archers will just wreak havoc. The increased attack speed, 33%. It's probably, I think it's probably the upgrade that gives the most attack speed increase of any other upgrade in the whole game. Oh, he's going to try and get a keep, but it's not going to go up. The camel archers sitting right on top of that. And Wham's going to lose a lot of villagers. 50 villagers have gone down. And I don't think this keep goes up. I mean, it might do. There's no kind of torch damage coming out of these camel archers, so they can't stay here forever, right? He can't really deal with this without rams or some melee type units. Though it does have 3 rams, though. I think as the camel archers do back off, he's losing a lot, though. I mean, these are premium units. These are very expensive for Kaup. Make no mistake. These camel archers, as you can see, 240 resources a pop, and it's going to get the keep up eventually, but it's going to lose a couple of... I don't know about this, though. He's going to lose a lot of villagers. And with the rams coming in, I'm not sure why I mean, he's going to commit to it, right? He's going to commit. He's going to get it up, but he's going to lose a lot. And the rams are going to start pounding on the keep. But as soon as the keep goes up, the villagers will torch the rams down, of course. And the camel archers do need to back off now. I think overall, to be honest, it's completely worth it because it's not as if Wham can't reproduce those villagers, especially with the upgrade that they get for the cheaper villagers. Just skip my mind there for a second. But 35% cheaper, I believe it is. Villagers coming back out to garrison inside the keep. Yeah, this is a situation that Kaup really can't push because he just has ranged units and they kind of perish quite quickly to the keep. The villagers will be happy to torch these out and the rams will be going down. Now, on the east side, yep, the walls are still there, but not finished, I'm afraid. And that means the trade is online and kept on going for quite some time. I think it's what kept kaup in the game so far. 30 traders. The Rams, though, are now being taken out. Kaup and Wham, the eco counts are very, very steady and similar. The proxy base, well, the second proxy base, I should say, has been taken. But Wham able to go back to the original 2-town center proxy base. A cheeky trader getting him some golden food there for the Abbasid dynasty for kaup. Now, I think the trouble is kaup, it feels like he should go to Castle Age. He's kind of struggling in the feudal age here. Every unit that he comes up against is just a tech advantage for Wham. And I think if a couple of archery ranges do get dropped for Wham, it could be curtains, because composite bows with boot camp on the archers would be incredibly strong. Let's just see if he's got boot camp. He doesn't yet have boot camp for his gulabs, which increased the health by 15%. And unfortunately can't afford composite bows at the current state of affairs. Plenty of wood for kaup coming in per minute. Village is still on stone for Wham, maybe looking to get another keep in. I mean, he takes a fight here, but I mean, even with camel archers, they deal like a decent amount of damage, but they are, after all, feudal age versions of the unit, right? The lancers, yeah, they're going to ride in there. Good numbers of them here for Wham. This is looking precarious here for kaup. He needs to get to the next stage and go for more Rams instead. He is doubling down in the feudal age. And the lancer numbers starting to get a bit scary. He's also getting for that composite bows. I think he's going to go for the archer switch. And it certainly would be a good option, especially that army composition would be so nice. Lancers and archers. It's everything you could want. And the thing is that kaup is having to commit a lot of units just to protect the trade. And that's what's hurting him a little bit, right? He's got so much more units than his opponent. But half of his army is on the east side, protecting the trade. He does have, I mean, I'm a bit surprised by that though, because he does have the palisade walls. Not fully walled up. I think if kaup was able to get some static defenses, he'd be able to move the army away, but he's struggling. He's going to keep himself open though, for now. But a lot of the military is stuck there. Lancer's going to ride around and try and see how much damage they can get. But Wham producing villagers like madness. Actively producing from 4 town centers, getting another keep. Okay, so the trade is completely denied on the west side. On the east side, not so much. He's going to wall up this area here, but he needs to try and wall around this. It's done quite well here, kaup, to try and keep this open. Trouble is, I think he's taking his whole army. Oh, he's engaging with the lancers. I think the lancers clean a lot of this up, and that's actually going to buy Wham a lot of time to get those palisades up. See, kaup just trying to keep his enemy at bay. Chop through though, Wham. The corner there to get through. The trade is at risk. Lancer's going to focus on the trade for now. A lot of traders will be going down before they make the trip home. Camel archers might clean up the lancers though. I don't know, it's careful. I mean, kaup does need to mic this, coming in with reinforcements. The trouble is this gives a window of opportunity for Wham to pressurize on the west side, right? I'm sure that'll happen. The lancers will perish, but they're getting lots of traders. Just peeling off 2 lancers there, Wham. Engaging with the others. That's such a good micro approach. Uh-oh. Heavily armored units taking out villagers on farms. A lot of Rams. Kaup is not happy about this. He certainly wants to push that proxy base, but with an age behind, he's struggling. Like 19 units for Wham versus 44. You might be fooled into thinking that kaup has got a better army, but he just simply doesn't. And it's because of the tech advantage. Oh no, he's walled out again. And that's going to take kaup even more time to try and break through and secure that trade again. And the thing is that with such short investment, small investment, he practically idles like 24 economy units. Here comes the fight. Wham going to dive in with the Rams, trying to make their way through. The pathing, kind of a problem. They're going to get trapped. Oh, that's a problem for kaup. There's a lot of wood invested here, but with the composite bow archers, no match for the lancers, which have been upgraded with iron undermesh. Here come the spearmen, but the spearmen will be taken out by the veteran archers with composite bows for Wham's Abbasid dynasty. This could be the beginning of the end because, well, he's an age up and the military count is starting to equalize, and that's not a position that kaup wants to be in. The Rams were a heavy investment. They can't get any damage. A couple of lancers on the wood line. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Wham takes the game on the golden pit. On a crazy game. It's not golden pit, it's the pit. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The whole game is crazy. It was a great game to watch. Hope you guys enjoyed the casted game. Take care and see you next time.